Welcome to the podcast recording of Middle East AI News Live for Thursday, January 11th, 2024, brought to you by Carrington Malin, Marketing for an AI-First World. You're listening to my discussion with Dr. Abed Benaichouche, co-founder and CEO of Open Innovation AI, where we talk about the launch of the company, its game-changing artificial intelligence operating system platform, its partnership with worldwide technology, and the future of large language models.
So let's dive into today's topic. In today's Thursday Deep Dive, we're going to be talking about the launch of Open Innovation AI, the company's artificial intelligence operating system, or AIOS, and generative AI in Abu Dhabi and in the world in general. We'll touch on the formation of and global launch of Open Innovation AI, the company's AIOS development platform, and how that helps enterprise customers develop new generative AI solutions, and Open Innovation AI's recent $100 million deal with worldwide technology, also the opening of the company's European headquarters, and much more. I'm going to be joined by Dr. Abed Benaichouche, co-founder and CEO of Open Innovation AI. Dr. Abed, as you'll soon find out, is a visionary entrepreneur, technologist, and AI expert. He has an impressive educational background, having studied artificial intelligence, robotics, computer vision, virtual reality, applied mathematics, and data science. He's a highly respected researcher with a track record in cutting-edge R&D, and he's a trusted advisor to a variety of global and local technology firms and startups. Dr. Abed completed his PhD and conducted postdoctoral research in France before going to work with global energy group Total and the French Geological Survey BRGM as a scientist. In 2018, he joined the newly launched Group 42, now known as G42, as CTO and co-founder of the group's Artificial Intelligence R&D Institute, Inception, which of course is now part of Core 42. In 2020, Dr. Abed helped to co-found AIQ, the Industrial AI Solution Development joint venture formed by G42 and ADNOC. In addition to being co-founder and CEO of Open Innovation AI, he is also a managing director of global service provider at Worldwide Technology. And he's also a board advisor to several Silicon Valley-based technology companies and global venture capital firms. So a warm welcome to Middle East AI News Live, Dr. Abed Benaichouche.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carrington, for making the invite for me and the talk about open innovation. Thank you so much for the guests who are listening to this podcast. I hope they will enjoy it, and we will try to answer the question if you have. Yeah, so we are very excited and for this opportunity and looking forward to drive the discussion with you, Carrington. Thank you so much for inviting me and the Open Innovation.
Great to have you here. And thanks very much for taking the time to join us and to talk about the launch of Open Innovation AI that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in now. And I'm sure that almost everyone in business now knows what large language models are, or LLMs. But we've all been on a steep learning curve for the past year following all of that hype generated by ChatGPT. We've also learned that enterprise computing is now moving to a world of not a few LLMs provided exclusively by big AI developers, but a world where there are many, many different LLMs for different purposes. So big enterprises with many use cases for LLMs are likely to develop and manage multiple LLMs. And Abu Dhabi's R&D ecosystem seems to have grasped this early on and has already launched multiple high-performing LLMs with the promise of more on the way. So let's, if we could, start our conversation about Abu Dhabi's growing status as an AI R&D hub, because this is something I'm very excited about, and to see it actually happen before our eyes is just fascinating. Perhaps I could ask you about your personal journey. What brought you to the UAE, and what was your first-hand experience of joining that ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. So the story of me coming to Abu Dhabi and the UAE, coming back to 2018, when we started at that time the launch of the giant G42, that Core 42 that everyone knows. So really, what's attractive about UAE and Abu Dhabi is the speed of execution aligned with the big vision that the leadership put in place in order to drive new advancement. And as you know, technology and AI becoming one of the key pillars in the UAE to be global leader that drive that changes. So me personally, after spending time in France and working for different companies, corporate groups, and then it was really the right place to try a new experience. And G42 at that time was exactly, the best fit, where the vision is big, all the resources, all, the vision is aligned. So that's really was for me no-brainer to become one of, the people who can drive all that, vision in the country here. So that's really was, for me at that time, a simple decision to be part of global trend, big impact, while keep always, learning and trying to do more efficient things, but not only on the local scale, but really to drive global impact at global scale. So that was for me like the best place, to really, try and start a new journey, being part of at that time of G42 AITU, and now really continuing the journey through open innovation.
And you really have a unique perspective on this new AI R&D ecosystem, because you joined just at the beginning of that massive acceleration that we've seen over the past 5 years. And it's literally gone from having very little of that sort of R&D to being recognized worldwide. What do you think the advantages are for R&D in Abu Dhabi, and also for those companies that are looking to develop AI R&D, perhaps moving to Abu Dhabi, or working with entities in Abu Dhabi?
Absolutely. I think the key importance, when we talk about the R&D, we have multiple enablers that, we have here in the UAE, or more specifically to Abu Dhabi, when it comes to, the first thing is the talent. So being in a place where you can attract talent from all over the world, bringing them to the same location when they can live with their family happy, and also offering them a challenge to drive this. That's, I would say, is an important factor to really drive that. On top of that, if you want to do R&D, is about, you need to have a vision of the leadership that are willing, to invest, to drive R&D. And that, require a lot of investment, which is the capital that we know here in the UAE. We have, and a lot of, famous people are talking about UAE becoming the capital of the capital. That's very important. So being able to attract talent, having the capital, all aligned with a strong vision, I think that's really what's today helping UAE and Abu Dhabi more specifically to be really in the cutting edge of the R&D when it comes to the technology, but also beyond. And what we saw recently with the sustainability, climate change, agri-tech, everything is moving toward the same direction. And this is based on the three pillars: are talent, capital, and vision. That's really important.
And Abu Dhabi's definitely worked hard on all of those. And I think the scale and the speed that it has managed to amass that talent is really breathtaking, because as I see it, sort of 5 or 6 years ago, you probably count the researchers and developers in Abu Dhabi and computer scientists in the dozens. And now you could count them in the thousands. And for that short space of time, that's just amazing.
Absolutely. And I think also you mentioned something important, that the speed of execution and the scale that from Abu Dhabi or the UAE, we can go to international or global, regional or global, scale. That's also really done through the, different relationship partnership between UAE and other countries. And that's really also an important factor for, the R&D, because the R&D is not about only working on your own, but it's more about collaborating with others with a clear vision that can enable the whole, R&D enablement. And that's, where the UAE position globally is, working with all, partnering with all, having universities today, also with the launch of MBZ, Hamad bin Zayed University of AI, also help to bring and form talent in the country. So it's about a full ecosystem that drives the R&D. And from the R&D, how you can scale it to a commercial use, that's really, another part that, also is smoothly integrated within the country by having all these ecosystem players all working together.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though we've seen 5 years of this big push, it's still a lot of new exciting things are going to happen. And the evidence of outputs from the R&D ecosystem becoming commercialized. Also, you mentioned collaboration and being able to work with different companies in Abu Dhabi, the region, around the world is important. But that also is probably going to go to another level. So all of those things just very interesting to watch. Do you believe that we've reached a critical mass that we need to reach in that ecosystem, or you think that's it, we still have a little bit way to go before we could be truly recognized in global terms as a hub for this?
I think it's it's a journey. We are on the right track, and I think what we saw recently in some articles were talking about UAE as the third largest economy when it comes to AI and technology after US and China. So I think it's a journey. The effort has to continue to be done in a proper way, consistently, and really keep focusing on that. So I think we are on the right track. I think we reached a certain critical mass because we have today, as you mentioned, thousands, even not tens of thousands of researcher, global, technologists, entrepreneur coming here in the country driving this. So it's still a journey, and the effort has to be continued. But I think we are already past the phase one where we were really trying to do things and now doing things and creating impact. And now it will be how we can take this forward into not from the local or the regional scale to be recognized globally by having Abu Dhabi or the UAE IP scaled across the world and be part of the technology, let's say, stack that's driving the whole advancement. So that's for me, the next phase is moving into really being a fundamental player that drive the technology, or more specifically AI globally. So it's a journey. It's on the right track. We did a lot of work, a lot of achievement, but still, we have not to say, oh, we reached it. It's still always, keep working hard and, doing the effort.
Yeah, of course. But I think you're right. The recognition so far on a global level, you wouldn't have expected that 2 years ago even. It came at once, and multiple different levels, multiple organizations involved, multiple achievements. Last year was a big year. It was a very big year. We're going to have to work hard this year to meet that.
Absolutely. When we want to build any vision, you put a lot of assumptions and bet on other players that they are also moving toward the same vision. And at the time where everyone is bringing his own piece ready to go, at that time, all these advancements happen. So it's not one player or two players, it's an ecosystem working together and each party having his own piece, and everyone is trusting the other and betting on the advancement that everyone is bringing to the table at that time. And it's always not a short-term game. It's always betting on the future and the advancement on the future. Because what we try to do is really to understand how any emerging technology or any new ideas are coming and how this will go over time. And we believe that solution exists, but most of the solution doesn't exist today. And what we try to do, we build one block from this all big solution that has to happen, and others are building, and we work together and make sure that all we are moving together toward that end goal that we solve it in the future. So that's really the game, is being able to be part of an ecosystem that all moving toward the same direction to create a real positive impact when everyone is ready to propose what he offer at that time. So that's really important. Factor is always betting on the future, and that's what the R&D is always work to solve something not today. It's always something that create impact in the future, and we know that you cannot do it alone. So how you can convince and bring the trust between the ecosystem partner that that's really where we are going, and how each one will do his job to get it happen. So that's very important factor when it comes to the ecosystem. And what you mentioned is in the UAE, that is well established with all the pillars. Everyone is working. Some of them are working on the fundamental research. Some of them are more into the applied. Some of them more into the industry part of it, how we can apply and scale this technology. And that's really the ecosystem. So it's an all. It's not one man show or one company show. It's more an ecosystem play, believing in the same vision and how we can reach to that. It's very important.
And looking at the speed that AI development is changing and accelerating, to be honest, Abu Dhabi's vision is as good as anybody's.
Absolutely. That's no doubt.
So let's move on to the open innovation AI story. Where did the concept come from? Obviously, there's R&D behind this at its core, but where did the concept come from for open innovation AI?
We have been in the industry, for the last, decades or more, seeing all the emerging of AI and how it's evolving. And I think what happened recently with ChatGPT and OpenAI just, brought the attention to everyone that this is something that can create value. But when we talk about the large language model, all this generative AI, in our community, we are aware of this since 2017, 2018, with all the advancement that we saw, large companies and the research community already writing papers, providing, some codes to do that. And then, what created the difference is really how we can bring this into end users. It can be consumers, people, or it can be enterprise level. So what open innovation idea initially was, if we want to be part of that journey on making AI democratized for general use, it can be for enterprise or it can be for consumers. These require a very specific optimization on how we can drive building of the AI. Because AI today, especially with the generative AI, is something that is expensive, is very hardware consuming, and there is a very big already imbalance in the supply chain when it comes to the compute power, to everything around that. So we saw that really from the beginning, and we said, so how we can solve this problem, that we can optimize the supply chain between AI consumptions and all the hardware requirement software to drive that AI. And what Open Innovation said, okay, we're gonna work to bring a solution that any AI building will be done in an efficient way, so we can achieve, as community, as ecosystem, much more outcomes with the limitation that we have. And that's why we come to say, okay, the AI, there are two parts of it. When we talk about the AI, a lot of people are talking about the large language model, but that's how we see it, is the scientific part of the AI. So building a Falcon, building a Llama, building a Mistral, building a GPT, that's really scientific, mathematical work that needs to be done to build that model. But in order to do that, there are a lot of hidden parts that require a proper operating system to help you in the most efficient way and also at the most cost-effective way to build that AI. That's one piece. And the second piece, once you have your AI, how you can serve your AI for end users. It can be enterprise, government, or simple consumers. And that's require a lot of AI engineering or AI ops part to drive that. So what we position ourselves is, we said that it's an ecosystem, and we want to take this challenge and solve it. So others are working on the AI, others are working on the software, on the application, on the business. But we want to be that layer that makes sure that everything is orchestrated and is working in the most efficient way. So it has much, much more faster and bigger impact. So that's how our journey started, is how we can make sure that any AI building is done in the most efficient and cost-effective, and once it's built, it's consumed in the most efficient way. And that's how we took this challenge, and it took us a lot of time and a lot of efforts working with the great people, great team, great partner, really to work every single day to solve that problem. So that's the only problem that when we wake up in the morning, we try to solve. And then we work with others, support others to also do their job in order to help us as well.
This all happened last year, am I right?
Absolutely. So last year was the launch of the product. It was the launch of the solution, getting access to the first customers to test it. And that's really where people visible. But, the thinking and the challenge was something that we lived with since, a long time ago. And all, this solution, these things, we have been working on it for the last 2 years.
Right, because the first that most people heard of Open Innovation AI was October, November time. And I believe that you started the company officially in June, something like that.
That's, I would say yes. Yeah. But there is a stealth mode phase before that where, doing a lot of R&D, without talking about what we are doing, trying first to solve the problem before going publicly and say, hey, we are doing this. So, it was a bet, and we wanted to make sure that we are able to do it. Then, talking and start, getting, what you said. So it was not directly from day one. We are working on this and we do it. So we wanted first to see if this problem can be solved and what's the effort that take to solve it. And it took us more than a year to do that with as I said, with a great team from globally, from, all of them, by the way, are based in Abu Dhabi right now, to solve it. And then when we saw that the problem can be solved and we start having the first product or the beta version, we were really amazed. So we start working with customers to test it. And at that time, we got the confidence that it's the right time now that we are bringing this piece into the market. So just now, let's, let everyone benefit from it. And that's really what it comes to the news in November and what you saw.
Before we sort of go into a little bit more detail on what the AIOS platform does and what your services are, can I just narrow down a little bit what your focus is in terms of customers and also in terms of the services and solutions you offer? You mentioned that there's obviously the AI model development, which is R&D, and the developing models based on that research for use by organizations and applications for use by end users. Which parts of that do you cover? Are you focused on the corporate solutions and user applications?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I think maybe I would explain it in a way. So what we wanted to do is really work on a fundamental problem that is agnostic to the industry or to the customers that we are working with. So that's why today, if you see Open Innovation, we work with partners, and that can drive all the use cases, what we call, or the solution for the customers. Because AI or Gen AI for enterprise, for consumer, is something very new. So we are positioned as a fundamental layer in the technology that people can build on top of that. And customers or people who are using our platform get immediately benefit from the cost saving on building, serving, or deploying any AI model. That's very important. And the key differentiator here is, I think it's maybe more technical, is what we believe in our philosophy is we have today two, let's say, model that are globally emerging. Is one, what we call the AI as a service, meaning that type of, for simple understanding, is ChatGPT, where you have a black box owned by certain company and you consume that AI and get the results, and that what you are doing. So you pay for the AI that's owned by proprietary by some companies, and then you consume the response. That's one model. The second model, which we believe is rather than going for an AI as a service, because we observed with our customers globally, is some question today people has about the data, about the model, about the control, and that's today AI as a service by design is not, you cannot answer that. So what we believe is the solution is that you have to go from an AI as a service type of solution to platform as a service solution, where the AI become one component that the customers can own. And today we see the community effort when it comes to the open source LLM, all these private LLM. So when you consume the platform, you make sure that you have your own AI that you can train, fine tune, use in a proper way. And it's your IP because it's your know-how for your organization. And on top of that, all your data used for that is simply controlled with the same environment. So that's very important. So bringing to the customers in terms of solution is we work with partners to offer a platform where they work with customers, or sometimes you have customers that they have a lot of capability in terms of development and technology, so they do by themselves. So we want to create a clear separation when it comes to customers' data, customer knowledge, customer IP. Anything we help them and we secure for them that knowledge is with them, the AI is theirs, and everything they build on top of the platform become always their own IP, because it's data that they may be collecting for 10, 15, 30 years, and that's know-how of the company is something very sensitive and important for them. So that's why what we do is always offer a platform that enables them to keep creating AI, and we have partners that works directly with customers to design that solution if they don't have resources, capabilities to do that. But it's always keep the control with the customer because it's the IP, it's the data, and it's the know-how.
So you're a technology developer, and the service would be typically offered by a partner who's working directly with end users.
We work with end users for, let's say, specific customers, to be close to them. But when it comes to offering the solution, because, we have two type of, or multiple type of customers. So there are certain customers that they are really investing heavily into the technology, and they want also part of their service offering offer technology or AI within their product line services or within their customers. At that time, we work with them directly to do it. But you have customers that they are looking for solution. So they want to have a specific use case for their internal use to benefit from the generative AI or the LLM or AI in general. At that time, customers want only to have secure way to benefit from that. And that's where the partners come, work with the customer using our platform to drive that outcomes for them. So it's case per case on the customer's type and the customer's, involvement in the technology level.
Okay, understood. And of course, when you're an enterprise looking at developing those models and identifying those use cases for solutions which require custom or specific LLMs, there's a cost involved. There's a requirement for expertise that this will be developed in the right way. And there's also knowledge in terms of what's the best AI models to use. So you provide a solution for all of those challenges, don't you?
Absolutely. So what we do with our customers is really we invest a lot of time and effort with them to first in the education part of it. So we want first that our customers understand how the AI works, what are all the challenges, what is already existing, how they can benefit. So we want really to help them to understand that working with us is not about a transaction, is about a long-term journey that we're gonna work together. That's very important. So when we work with our customers, we invest all that time and effort to sit with them, understand with them, really define the use cases, not only the challenge of today, but also how they see their company business plan, technology stack evolving over time. And we try to help them into their journey. And that's something that really we believe is our mandate to do, is always be transparent with the customer, advising them in the right solution, and tell them the truth and give them options. So that's really something that we invest massively on, educating, help the customer to define his vision and how we can help them to reach that vision. That's really the model that we use today, is not only you can buy the solution, because we want to make sure that the solution is adding value for them and it's really aligned with their vision. And at that time, we have partners like Worldwide Technology, who has already access to thousands of customers, working with them every single day. So we have also access through that to all the challenges, all the use cases, and we work with them and the customers really to drive that, that solution building for the customers at the end.
Understood. And we've seen that there's been a big learning curve on as far as enterprise users go with LLMs and the needs and future development. And not everybody has compute capacity available to work with large language models at scale. Is that something that you also help relieve the burden of?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Carrington. And I think that's the important things here, because when we talk with all the customers, I would say without exception, the first question is always coming back, what's infrastructure I need to run large language model? And that's really is the question that people are asking us. I want to use it, but how many GPUs I need? What's the infrastructure side? And we have working and developed with partners in the platform what we call sizing tools, meaning that depends on the use case, you have a full simulation environment that can help the customer based on the use case or the number of use cases that they want to do, and all the number of users, the number of, let's say, all the technical requirement that they will drive the use cases to have an optimal sizing. So what we want to make sure is I would say the challenge here when it comes to the infrastructure is how to balance performance versus cost. So it's easy to go, I will go for a big infrastructure, but you are oversizing your infrastructure. So that's a cost that you have to bear. And then that's it. You have a good performance, but there is an extra cost. And if you go on the other side of the spectrum is you want to have not losing all the performance side. So you don't want to oversize. And what we offer is the midpoint that based on acceptable performance that you are looking for and the use cases that you want to drive, that's the optimal infrastructure that you need. And then how we help them depends on their customer, their preferences. If they want to have their own infrastructure, what we call on-prem or in their own environment, we deploy with them, but some customers they don't have and they want to acquire. So that's why we work with Worldwide Technologies to offer a turnkey solution for customers from the infrastructure, including the compute, the networking, up to the AI use cases. So it's really one turnkey solution, secure for customers that they are looking for that. Some other customers, they are okay to work on the cloud. So we support the cloud or the multi-cloud solution that if they have preference for a cloud 1 or cloud 2 or cloud 3, we deploy for them. And then we make sure that all the consumptions and the spending on the infrastructure is optimized through the platform so they don't spend anything without losing the performance. So that's really the use cases is cloud or multi-cloud deployment versus on-prem deployment, but also we are working with customers that they want hybrid solution. So I want to do part of it, big loads on my own infrastructure, but also keep part of it on the cloud as needed. So we support all these things and we advise the customer as well. So if we see customers saying that I have a big use cases to run, so maybe in this case, going for pure cloud is becoming more expensive for them. So we advise them and we size for them to invest in a local infrastructure to drive. And if it's small use cases, the data is not sensitive. So maybe cloud is an option for the beginning, and then they have to balance all these things. So it's not only about offering the solution, is really caring about the customer that is always getting the best performance, all the outcomes in a very short time without overspending on the AI.
Yes, and I expect there will be an increasing number of enterprise customers looking for that flexibility to plan the way forward and to develop the things that they need to do without jumping in and buying a whole load of new systems. Nobody wants a highly expensive, high-performance systems sitting idle. They all want them to be busy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a common question that we have from every single customer. Should I go cloud? Should I invest in my infrastructure? If I invest, what's the size? Should I go hybrid? And that's, what we try to do really is not guess with them or just, tell them something that we believe is good. We do it in a scientific way with platform, with all benchmarking, performance. It's numbers. It's reality. It's not about, do this. So every single thing that we offer or advise to our customers is based on numbers and tests and benchmark that they're going to see. And we offer them before any decision, a full report that they see in the platform and they can download and read into the detail if they are happy. And if they are not happy with this performance, they want more, they can go back and just run exactly the same exercise to get the numbers. So every single decision that our customers take is based on number. It's a truth. It's not our experience. It's not our opinion. It's not the global trend. It's test that is done by themselves to decide.
Yeah, and enterprise customers that have any experience dealing with solution providers who don't know their way around LLM will appreciate what you just said.
Absolutely. And I will tell you something very important that most of the challenges as well is lab, people they want to test before even investing. So that's when it comes to the Worldwide Technologies and the Advanced Technology Center with the AI lab, we do it through that. So it's a physical lab that exists with the platform. Customers can go inside, test, validate, and then check the performance. If they are happy, that same environment will be replicated for them. That's very important. So we are not just doing numbers, it's physical on a lab. And that's really the big partnership with Worldwide Technology is around how we can bring clarity to our customers and confidence to take decision. It's not only about guessing, it's about lab, about testing, about benchmarking, and to take decision.
So let's move on now to talk a little bit about the deal that you have with Worldwide Technology, which I think was announced in, I think, last month, wasn't it? $100 million deal. It includes equity. It includes the embracing of your platform and using it at their worldwide lab operation. And I think Worldwide Technology is a huge company in the US, but it's quite new to this region. I believe they opened the regional office in Abu Dhabi last year. But globally, they have employed about 9,000 people with annual revenue of something like $17 billion. So a huge company. How did you end up partnering with Worldwide Technology, Dr. Abed?
Yeah. So Worldwide Technology, I would say I also came to know them, recently when they came to Abu Dhabi, because Worldwide Technology is the largest privately owned technology company in the world out in the US. And they have a big operation in the US and in the Europe and UK. So Worldwide Technology customers today are the Fortune 80 companies in the world, all the top 10 telco in the world, all the hyperscalers, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. That's the customers. So what WWT did for the last 33 years is being the partner per choice for all large organizations to manage infrastructure in industrial way. That's very important. So Worldwide Technology is seen as the most trusted partner for all the US companies in Europe as well, to help them to have their IT cloud working in a very efficient way. So then when it comes to the last year or 2 years changes with AI, all their customers are saying now, I want to move into AI. So how you can help us? And at that time, I met the board members. It was, life. You meet people in a place where never expected. And then we start talking about what we are doing in open innovation, what's our vision. And also I start to learn a lot about what they are doing. And then it was easy to understand that we are complementing their value proposition for their global customers when it comes to AI. And at that time, we said, okay, let's see, let's try. And we started working with the team closely, test the platform, put it in the lab, see how it works. And then, they liked it. And then when they see the platform, they said, okay, now we are willing to really do a large scale partnership, because there is no existing solution in the market today. There are a lot of things happening, but something that works, that's proven, that we tested and we believe in, that's the first thing. And that's what you come to see in the deal happening. Is the idea of this partnership is really to see, because the Advanced Technology Center in the US is the largest lab in the US. And then every single customers globally in WWT go to that lab to test. So now we said, in order to be credible in front of all our customers, let's deploy and do it internally inside WWT before even going to the customer. And that's really what helped to create a values and outcomes internally for usage. And from there, when customers come and see, we don't tell them we can do this, but we did it for ourselves. We do it here in us, and we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have all the tests, the security, the reference architecture that works for us. So it can be easier brought to the customers to test it as well. And that's, what comes. And then building that relationship, that trust with Worldwide Technology, that's at that time to decided also to support them into the regional expansion. And when I become the managing director for international business, because at the end, technology and AI are jointly moving together. So it's a really nice, I would say, partnership working with Worldwide Technology, because it's helped us to move with a giant, but at the same time for them, us supporting them here in the region to drive the scale. It's how it works. So it was a very good win-win situation for both companies, that we align, more importantly, let's say, than the technology, is on the values, the vision, why we want to do this, how we can create positive impact. It's not only about how we can get more customers, it's really how we can create value in that space. So that's really what, convinced me personally, convinced them from the other side to drive that partnership and be one company, one stack that drive this impact globally when it comes to AI.
Yeah, it does sound very synergistic. There's, I believe, Worldwide Technology call their service Lab as a Service. and deliberately trying to make it easy for customers to have the technology and the capacity and the skills behind it to test new concepts. And that's exactly what you need with this new world of large language models.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
We've only got a few minutes left, so I'm going to we need to try and keep our Q&A a little bit shorter. The deal with the WWT on the technology front is that they are using your artificial intelligence operating system platform to work with customers to develop AI models for them, and it's also something that customers can come and use themselves. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Yeah, so it's I would say a hybrid model where they are using the platform internally to create value, but also we have a joint go-to-market strategy where they can drive with the customers integrating our platform in the solution. So it's not only about the customer, but also having this new revenue stream for WWT, but also other partners that can come from the AI. So it's really what's important also today is all this generative AI and all this LLM coming to the market is creating new revenue streams for a lot of people that can, create value for the customers. And that's our platform, not only create value for the customers, but also for all our partners to have extra revenue streams when it comes to integration, when it comes to building use cases, when it comes to the services on top of that. That's new revenue stream for our partners is something that was not possible before having our platform. So it was a lot of effort, a lot of cost, and it was time consuming. And that was like most of the time, POCs taking 6 months, taking 1 year to do it. And that never flied, for the last, 2-3 years, but at least on the AI in general. So this one is bringing tangible outcomes to the customers that they can benefit from, but also new revenue streams for all our partners to keep, adding value to their customers.
And what would be typical timescales for developing a POC using WWT's lab?
At the end, the POC time, we took us few months to put the platform, test it, doing more tests on that. But even today, we have a big team in Worldwide Technology also helping us on a daily basis to improve our platform. So for us, it's not only about deploying the platform to use it, but also helping us with the know-how, but also the expertise from different industries and customer to refine our roadmap to make sure that anything we are building for the future is always aligned with the market and the customer's need. So it's really, I would say we see it internally today is really one body working together to drive joint value proposition. So it's really supporting the development. We have people supporting the testing. So it's really extended team from both sides. So it's an extended team from Open Innovation side to have all the US team and Europe team supporting on testing, validating, and developing, but also from their side is an extension to their AI practices globally to support them into the customers and talking to that. So it's really one, joint, partnership that is seen as an extended team from both sides.
If I could just go back to the time factor again, where does this platform and this service save customers time?
So when it comes to the time, I will give just a small example just one of them, let's say the easy one. If you are a company that you want to train or fine-tune a large language model on your data, to do that, you have to go through a lot of experiment. And then you have a lot of constraint in terms of the compute power. So what the platform helps you is every single experiment with your team that is done, next time you do it in more efficient way, but also the platform can help you to not run experiment that will not work. So basically what we do is to get exactly the same outcomes, we help you to get that 50% faster by helping you to do less experiment. Rather than running 200 experiments, you can do maybe only 100. And we have all the tools that can help you to do that. And on top of that, every single experiment that you do, the way that we manage all the infrastructure is always faster. That's why what today see with our customers and all the tests that we do in the lab, we can help up to 50% time saving, cost saving, energy saving to get you to the same outcomes that you are looking for.
Great. Okay, well, it's very exciting. Congrats on the new business. This is really proof positive that the latest market-leading technology can be developed in the region. What are your thoughts on the new LLMs that have come up out of Abu Dhabi so far, and the potential for other large language models, AI models being developed in the region? Is it really an open market? Is it really achievable, attainable to get worldwide adoption for some of these models?
My opinion on this question is today, the global trend of the large, I would say, customers enterprise are considering all these large language open source model as an alternative to have more control, more security, more transparency in terms of the AI. So that's global trend. And when it comes to the LLM coming from Abu Dhabi, that's coming back to the vision that we discussed in the beginning, that all this R&D is backed by the UAE and the leadership to keep positioning that. Because building an LLM is not something that is cheap. It's very expensive, and it requires strong commitment in terms of capital, resources, talent. And that's, I think, today we're going to see more and more. But when it comes to the LLM itself, I think we are just in the first phase of the LLM, where initially we started building bigger and bigger LLM. So now we see the trend moving back to more smaller LLM specialized with some mixture of experts. But that's, the trend. And now we are talking about more LLMs, distributed LLMs, different agents that they can talk to each other. So it's a very interesting journey. And I think it will keep really going up. New ideas will be coming, new technology, new architecture in terms of AI will be coming. And that's what we position ourselves to be part of that journey to support and accelerate that development in a way that it's done in the same efficient way. Because there is a limitation in terms of resources, in terms of access. So we want to make sure that all the AI life cycle from the training up to the deployment and the use cases is done in a most efficient way that we can go faster. We don't want to spend any extra compute power or energy on something that we can avoid. And that's really the added value is we try always to make sure that the time to outcomes, the time to value is always there, and the cost and the energy and the time is always there. So that's really how we see the trend. And we are happy really to collaborate with some players that you mentioned in Abu Dhabi, and you will see some news coming soon as well. So to be part of really that journey as well to help. So we are here to help customers to make sure that they are getting their outcomes in a secure way, in a most efficient way. And that's really the challenge that we took.
Great. We're going to have to, unfortunately, round off today's discussion. Dr. Abed, thank you so much for joining Thursday Deep Dive and having this discussion and telling us more about Open Innovation AI. It's been interesting. I'm sure we'll talk again. AI is not going to stop accelerating anytime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm happy really to jump in if you need me anytime. It's a great pleasure to talk to you and also having the guests listening to I hope they enjoy it. And I'm really, reachable on LinkedIn anytime.
You've been listening to a recording of Middle East AI News Live for Thursday, January 11th, 2024, brought to you by Carrington Malin. Thanks for listening.